Gentleman from coastal Louisiana.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Rear Admiral, Vice Admiral, for your service, and the panel for being here today. This question is actually for both Admiral Z and Vice Admiral Roof. Do you agree with conclusion O of the GIT report, which says that the proximity and operational capabilities of the offshore supply vessel Damon Banks were critical to the successful evacuation of 115 survivors of this casualty?
Congressman, absolutely. Although the Damon Banks was not a standby vessel, she was in that immediate proximity, and the outcome could have been much different for those 115 survivors.
And she was an EEP vessel, classified vessel, though, right?
That is correct.
You know, because one of my biggest concerns, certainly, you know, I always believe that the greatest natural resource we have in the Gulf of Mexico is actually the men and women who ply that dangerous trade. And I want to learn from this accident. I want to take it as a learning experience and make sure that we implement ways to make sure that those people get back home if we ever have another accident like that. We heard from the panel that this accident was mostly caused by human error, communication problems. Those things can happen again under even the most perfect system anytime you insert the human element in it. And so, you know, and one of the things that I find amazing is that by having the Damon Banks there, the Coast Guard lowered a rescue swimmer down from the chopper that arrived at the scene about an hour and a half or so later. And that swimmer conducted triage and ensured that the most severely injured individuals were evacuated first. Absence the presence of that vessel, of the motor vessel Damon Banks, where would this triage have occurred on this 110 people?
Yeah. Again, had it not been for the Damon Banks, then, you know, I think the outcome for some of those survivors would have been much different. She was very critical to the immediate rescue and survival of some of the more critically injured.
So, and so I guess you would agree with the witness statement that was found in the GIT report, which says that if the Damon Banks wouldn't have had a fast rescue craft, there may have been 10 more lives lost.
That was a very likely outcome, yes, sir.
Yeah. And so again, because it's hard for people who have never been out in the Gulf of Mexico, who can't understand the environment that these men and women are dealing with and how vast that Gulf is, that and the amount of people, I think it's hard for people to even understand how many people are actually on that particular rig. That again, if you have everyone evacuating off that rig and this rig being totally taken out of service in a manner that no one can stay on it, if we don't have a place where those people can, where we can bring everyone to a central location in an effort to allow the Coast Guard, because only the fastest manner that you all have for getting out there at that distance would be a helicopter. Is that correct? And so again, to triage those personnel and ensure that we provide and administer first aid and get those who are critically wounded heloed out, we need a stable platform by which to do that. Would you not agree?
I've been in that business for over 34 years, Congressman, and I do agree.
And lastly, again, I mean, I hate to continue to beat this dead horse, but so you would agree with the safety recommendations which state it is recommended that the Commandant revise 33 CFR subchapter N to establish designated standby vessels for MODUs engaging in oil and gas drilling activities in the Outer Continental Shelf?
Yeah, we have not pursued that. We are currently working with our federal advisory committees to first work through that process. But certainly we, in the context of Deepwater Horizon, fully appreciate the safety of life factor that's involved with this. But we are going through, as we would any regulatory process, going through that outreach process first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.